This morning we are going to talk about the Predator Defense Dog, which is a new American breed and is being bred to protect against predators such as wolves, bears, coyotes, bobtails, other lynxes, but also smaller predators such as foxes, raccoons, and also for feral hogs. The breeds that they used to create this breed are predominantly the Rottweiler, the German breed of Molosser, and the Johnson type American Bulldog, which is an American breed of bulldog and is quite massive. Whereas the Rottweiler is one of the smallest mastiffs or Molosser type of dogs, the American Johnson Bulldog is the biggest of all the bulldogs there are. And they use a specific line of American Bulldogs that had better characteristics as in drive and possibilities. So both the Rottweiler and the American Bulldogs are being used as guardian breeds, whereas some bulldogs were also used as catch dogs, for example catching feral hogs. So thereby combining guardian defense dog qualities against humankind, because they talk about this predator defense dog as a dog to face off with predators, but they also face off with humans. And in that case, the purpose looks a lot like that of a band dog. And the band dog is also there to deal with man or beast and to protect against those that bring harm. So that also gives you a perspective if you want something else along the similar lines. And protection against humans, Rottweilers are a very good choice if you get them from working lines. And why is that the case? Because you get the protection properties of a guard dog mixed with a little bit more laid-back character as compared to, for example, a shepherd type of guardian dog. And also you have the size, you have man-stopping ability. The size of a Johnson Bulldog on average is similar to even bigger than that of a Rottweiler. So also these Johnson type Bulldogs have great stopping power. So that brings you to the topic, what other breeds did they use? They wanted to increase the grit, and therefore they bred in working type American Pit Bull Terrier, which is a true gladiator dog, but they use extra large lines. So therefore they also bred in a lot of weight pulling Pit Bull type of dogs. In my opinion, I like the heterosis, so they have increased the gene set. Still the dogs look predominantly Rottweiler type. So if you like Rottweilers, this could be an interesting alternative. But in my opinion, there might be some better choices, and I will explain why. Rottweiler is a dog that is suitable for protection, but lately this dog breed has a low percentage of working specimens. And there are other breeds, and they use this XL Pit Bull Terrier type to do not give away too much of the size. And the size range of this predator defense dog is between 100 and 160 pounds, so about 45 to 72 kilograms, which is quite big to begin with. So that's the point, and there are other types that are being worked more consistently that have similar attributes as the Rottweiler. For example, the Boer Bull. And the Boer Bull is also already bred to deal with human threats, but also animal threats. So for example, baboons, leopards, hyenas, and the likes. So that could be a better choice. Or go with, for example, a livestock protection breed that has been developed to protect against wolves and bears predominantly. So for example, if you want a shorter coat, there are dogs like the Alabai that also feature this very thick, strong skull and big power and size, bigger than the Rottweiler even. So that could be an alternative source of Rottweiler, and then being dealing with some predators. If you want to have a Johnson type of bulldog, of course you get the biggest type of bulldog, but also that with the least drive and the least athletic properties. Normally a cat American bulldog would be Scott type or Margarita Painter, which are far more athletic and look a lot more like a Dogo Argentino than a Johnson bulldog. Dogo Argentino is another dog breed that has been developed to deal with, for example, predators such as puma, but especially with hawks. So my worries are that both the Johnson and the Rottweiler carry too little prey drive, and also are not as athletic as they should be. So therefore, if you introduce another factor, you will be almost producing a scatterbred dog that could be very healthy, but also would be hard pressed to deliver with consistency the type of pups that you want. So for example, if you would go with Alabai, which is a livestock protection breed, and Scott type American Bulldog, you would have a similar size, a lot more athletic capabilities and a lot more drive. And also Boer Bull could be a superior choice, even increasing bulk as compared to, for example, Rottweiler. Another thing is there are many good band dog programs. For example, American Sentinel K9 that are specifically developed to deal with threats, being human or hunting hawks. So they are not as much to deal with animals that come on your turf, but their protective nature, their hunting drive, as well as their predator disposal skills and strength, would be a very good choice. And these dogs are bred true and very much look like an XL American Pit Bull Terrier of game lines. So not so much weight pool, but game lines, and they are in the bottom range of this predator defense dog already. It could be a far better choice also if you would look towards extra large American Pit Bull Terriers, especially weight pool ones. So those are some of the factors to consider. That being said, I like the initiative a lot, but I think it could be executed far better, and therefore I gave some pointers. I hope that you like this video. If you do, let me know. If you have some additional information that you want to share, or why these choices were made over the choices that I propose, please let me know. Have a great day. In today's video we will discuss the difference between a wild dog, a Pariah dog, and a dog that is free-ranging to a degree, but still has an owner. And that's the last one. And to start with the last one, this is the closest to a house dog. So you have a dog that has an owner or a family it belongs to, but still it roams for itself and also gets some snacks for itself. And sometimes these dogs are even dogs that are hunting to a degree and also killing their own prey in that sense, or are able to go and stand where they want, but will come back to their owner and will make sure, for example, that there are animals that are there are not being a threat to the owner, and also to defend the premises of the owner against, for example, how to say this, intruders. So not animal, but also men. So, for example, rat terriers are often set loose to take care of vermin and also protect. But those rat terriers are like this type of dog, but still they will stay at their own place. Whereas some breeds, for example the Thai Ridgeback, would also stay close to the village but could wander a little bit further off. But a better example than the rat terrier would be the Afrikaans dog. This is a dog native, the name implies it already, in Africa. That is type of dog just roams free, gets some food for themselves, has some vermin to kill, but also will get some food sources, being either vermin or something else, and supply for itself to a degree. But on the other hand, it's protective to the family they belong to. And these type of dogs are often quite speedy and also have a high hunting drive. But the benefit is, and this is a contradiction to other types of dogs, is that they offer active protection. So the active protection of their family, being against vermin, predators, like foxes, for example, or snakes, but also against man-made threats. So that gives you the examples that I wanted to show you. Then the second category, which is the Pariah dog. This type of dogs live there and offer some protection, but not in the active form, but more in the passive form. So what do I mean? In this case, these dogs live close to settlements of people and interact there. Also will help keep the lands free of vermin, and also will offer some protection because they will alert if there are intruders or something like that. There's still benefits. They will feed off scraps that they find in the settlements. Also the first category will do this to a degree, but they do not belong to a family or an owner. They're just free roaming and they stay close to the settlements of men. And these type of dogs, you found them in the past. The ancestors, for example, of some tree climbing dogs that you find now in Indonesia, are how that started. And some people even think that the domestic dogs have evolved from wolves that were more of a pariah dog type of wolf, so living close to settlements. In my opinion, I think they did it a little bit different. They just raided a nest of wolf cubs and then raised them, and after a while selected the best of them. But both could be ways to approach this. But I think my suggestion is more feasible, and after a while, of course, some of the wolf cubs would still go back and some would stay, so it could be a little bit of both stories. Then the third category, wild dogs. So is there something like a wild dog? Yes, there is. An example of this, it could be the dingo. You have the dingo here in Australia, which is most known. It's a dog that is not a benefit to humans, but more of a threat, because they are killing especially sheep and other wildlife, of course, as well. So setters introduced sheep to Australia, but also introduced quarry for hunting, like foxes, and they are killing foxes as well, and cats too. So they have a benefit, but also a detrimental effect. That being said, they still offer a benefit because they also kill a lot of rodents, and also rodents like the rat is introduced by the settlers, and has because of the marsupials that often live in this closed off islands, they have little to no defense, and also the bird life is struck very hard by the rats. They introduced ferrets. Also in Australia you have the only settlement of wild ferrets. So ferret is normally a domesticated polecat, but there they also went into the wild and killed rats, but also rabbits that were introduced by the settlers and became a plague. So the dingo is a wild dog, but also you have dogs in the United States that live this life, even in some cities in Europe as well, and you find them as dogs that are just roaming free. But they could be very close to pariah dogs in many senses, whereas wild dogs are just fending for themselves predominantly. And of course they will eat also some scraps, but the pariah dogs normally also have some benefits, whereas wild dogs often don't have that much of a benefit. In case of security, of course the wild dogs still have a predator role, and can also give you some telltale signs when some people are approaching. They might give an alert, but this is more of a anecdotal benefit instead of a real benefit, in my opinion. Have a great day.